one of those conferences that working teachers everywhere would gladly spend hundreds of dollars of their own money to attend. And here we are, all excited to be a part of a professional conference where one of the students last year that was here at the very end was walking out and said, "I am ready to kick some pedagogical ass in preparing us to be teachers who can and will make a difference for the children, just like all of you." Our new dean, Dr. Michael Sampson, figured out some way to support this conference. So, right now, if we could just give a hand to Dr. Dean Michael Sampson right over here. Dean Sampson, stand up. Now I can tell you something, I'll tell you a few other things about this gentleman, but he is focused on children number one. And that's pretty cool, you know, and he's also focused on making sure Northern Arizona University's College of Education is the best in the country. So, hooray for everybody who is here. I feel kind of sorry for some of the folks that are coming in late, and if you are in the back coming in late, we do have chairs. Come on in. So, who's in the mood for the best day ever? Who's in the mood? All right. Our first teachers to touch our teachers' hearts and get us moving and grooving are Northern Arizona's, are you ready for this? Dancing Grannies. Are you in the mood?
me a minute. Well, you guys energize us a little too much on that one. I've always been able to talk after that, but, whoa. All right, good morning. The Flagstaff Dancing Grannies is a group of tap dancers, and our only requirement is to be over 50. We are all very qualified. You'll see why. I was asked to say a few words after this routine for obvious reasons. Except now I can't talk, just now. And I guarantee you we have never done this before at 8 a.m. Never. So, 4 of the dancers up here are retired teachers. The other ones were smart and wanted to make money. So, I'm a retired junior high teacher. I earned every wrinkle you see up here. Not my stripes, but my wrinkles. Okay. I taught 8th grade U.S. history and physical education, and as part of my history class, I did an oral history program, and all of the 8th graders interviewed senior citizens, which now I could be, or no, I am, I could be interviewed now. They interviewed them about growing up during the Great Depression and World War II. And about a month later, the seniors came back and we put on a USO-style show to thank them for their time and effort. And we always opened up with "In the Mood" to get them going. So I hope that did it for you this morning. It got us going. Before our next routine, I'm going to introduce each granny and tell you how young they are. Okay. And starting over on my left is Debbie. Debbie is 61. She's our baby here. And she works here at NAU in the e-learning. And scoots out one day a week to dance with us. She uses her lunchtime. Okay. Next to her is Karen. She's a retired teacher. She's 63, and I believe she taught here at NAU, or worked over here at NAU. Our next granny is Yoli. Yoli's also 63, and also a retired teacher here from NAU. Karen is our oldest young person here. She's 71. She probably has more energy than the rest of us. In fact, one time when my sister saw her dance, she asked if she had a Red Bull before she danced. Sharon is 69. She's a retired high school and college business teacher. And Rosie is 66. She's been with the grannies the longest for about 16 years. And I'm Sherry, and in a couple days I'm going to be 67. Another milestone. So, our second routine is called Keep on Rockin', and it's kind of our theme song. So while you're watching us dance, listen to the words, and that pretty much sums up this group. Okay? Thank you.
Just another morning at the shady rest, home for the aged and the convalescent. Let's take a little stroll down the Wild West Plain and see what's happening. Now Harry's in the first room down the hall, but he ain't a popping pills, he's sitting chair tall. I ask him what the secret is of 93. He says a double dose of Lacey and a Elitix G. Keep on, keep on, keep on a rocky boat. Keep on a rockin' till you're dead and gone. Rock on along till you're tick-tockin' with the boogie, boogie, boogie is your antidote. You gotta keep on rockin' or you turn to stone. catch, 'cause he can play his dentures like a cat's dance. Now Juana's in a walker and she's on the move, a pink house coat and blue suede shoes. Rosie is her roomie and she's frail and brave, but she can skeedle-doo-ba-deedle-dweedle-deedle all day. Keep on, keep on, keep on a rock, keep on a rockin' till you're dead and gone. Clock on along, the talking with the boogie is your antidote. You gotta keep on rockin' on your turns. Walking and stuck in the window. The doctors and the nurses just look the other way as the whole place starts to shake. They take the microphone where they play and go, shove it in the speaker in the stereo. The saxophone shrieks and the bass drum pounds, but they never turn it down. You gotta keep on, keep on, keep on a rock, keep on a rockin' till you're dead and gone. Talking with the boogie is your antidote. You gotta keep on rocking on your turns. Keep on a rock, keep on a rockin' till you're dead and gone. Clock on my wall, talking.
This final performance is always a hit, and it's a great way to end any performance. It's a salute to the armed forces, and my USO show used to always end with an armed forces medley, which was a big hit with the seniors, veterans, and so on. So we hope you enjoy it, and that will be our program for this morning. So thank you very much.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh. You know, the arts of education are in the heart of education is in the arts. I think we all know that. And every year we have everybody do this. And I want everybody to raise your right hand and do what Craig Bowie over at Fala Arts and Leadership Academy always has us say, we are all artists.
We are all artists.
And don't forget it. We're always going to be dancing, right?
Yeah.
And singing. And right now we have from Mountain School and Gretchen's 6th grade class, and that's Gretchen right over there. And we have several schools from Mountain School. Ladies, teachers, stand up over there. And who wants to hear a child sing? This is Hannah Stockton's mom, Lori, right over here. And this is Hannah.
There's a fine, fine line between a lover and a friend. And there's a fine, fine line between reality and pretend. And you never know till you reach the top if it was worth the uphill climb. 'Cause there's a fine, fine line between love and a waste of your time. There's a fine, fine line between a fairy tale and a lie. And there's a fine, fine line between you're wonderful and goodbye. Well, I guess if someone doesn't love you back, it isn't such a crime. But there's a fine, fine line between love and a waste of your time. And I don't have the time to waste on you anymore. I don't think you even know what you're looking for. For my own sanity, I've got to close the door and walk away. Oh, there's a fine, fine line between together and not. And there's a fine, fine line between what you wanted and what you got. You gotta go after the things you want while you're still in your prime. There's a fine, fine line between love and a waste of your time. That song is called Fine Fine Line, obviously, and it's from a musical called Avenue Q. And the next song I will be singing today for you guys will be Stars by Grace Potter. I lit a fire with the love you left behind, and it burned wild and crept up the mountainside. For into outer space. Can't look out the window, I can't look at this place, I can't look at the stars. They make me wonder where you are. Stars up on heaven's boulevard. And if I know you at all, I know you've gone too far. So I can't look at the stars. All those times we looked up at the sky, looking out so far, it felt like we could fly. Now I'm all alone in the dark of night. The moon is shining, but I can't see the light, and I can't look at the stars. They make me wonder where you are. Stars up on heaven's boulevard. And if I know you at all, I know you've gone too far. So I can't look at the stars. So I can't look at the stars.
Hannah, come on, one time more. Miss Maggie was in the back there. Oh, and thanks, Mom. Everybody. Lori's mom. Maggie was in the back there asking, you know, why don't you take off your hat? You know, fix up your hair a little bit. And I think that she has some kind of power there and is wonderful. Anyway, I get to introduce a children's book writer who last night, Barb Tingle, one of raise your hand, Barb, right over there. I'm going to say it. I said, you can't believe who our new dean is. He's a children's writer. And I said these books, and she goes, no way. He wrote that book and that book? I have them all in my class. And so our new dean is a children's book writer, known internationally. He's also taught kindergarten and many other grades. He got his PhD at the University of Arizona. He's been recognized as a very prestigious dean from Texas, the University of Arizona, to Connecticut, and we are so lucky to have a teacher, a dean, Michael Sampson. Everybody, come on up.
Thank you, Jim, and good morning, teachers. Let's give everyone a big hand. Wow, April 4th has been on my calendar for almost a year, and I have known the secret of today. And you don't know the secret yet. Some of you will find out some of the secret this morning, but it's something that takes time to understand. Because I want to share with you just a bit about teaching. Because you see, America has the finest education system in the world. Did you know that? We don't hear that often, do we? Why are we the finest? Because we have the best teachers in the world. Now, maybe you've heard that the U.S. is ranked 23rd or 25th, but you know, those are abstract tests that don't measure success, because who has the greatest economy in the world? Who develops the greatest inventors in the world? It's us. And why? Because we have the best teachers in the world. And so this day is a celebration of teaching. If you are a Teacher of the Year or a National Certified Board teacher, stand up. Look at this. Amazing. Thank you. If you have taught more than 5 years, stand up. Again. If you are a faculty member at Northern Arizona University or any other university, please stand up. If you are going to be a teacher, stand up. Now, the secret. There is a secret world that is teaching. And the secret of this world is the heart. Because you see, teaching is more about heart than anything else. And it's not something that develops overnight. If you've read the story of the Velveteen Rabbit, the classic children's book, you'll understand that you become a teacher over time. And you become a teacher as your heart opens up and you see the success of your students. Because the great culmination of a teacher is not someday becoming a dancing granny, although that's great. All of you someday can look forward to that. But the secret of teaching is the success of your students. And when you've reached the point I am in my career, there are so many that I've seen through the years that I remember when they were a 4th grader. I remember when they were a kindergartner. And now they're a very significant person in our country. So, what is the most important major on this campus at Northern Arizona University? It is. You know why? Because we teach all professions. As teachers, we're teaching tomorrow's physicians. We're teaching tomorrow's scientists. We can talk about STEM subjects, but we're teaching everyone that will make the breakthrough in medicine and engineering. And so the most important teaching profession, we're looking around, I'm seeing the teachers. Now, I have a surprise for those of you that stood up as a Teacher of the Year or National Board Certified Teacher, because there's something for you today too. Before I tell you that secret, let me share with all of you that stood up that are training to be teachers, that you have a chance today to learn from the wisdom of these great teachers. Some of them have been recognized as Teachers of the Year. We have the National Teacher of the Year here. We have the Arizona Teacher of the Year. We have the Rural Arizona Teacher of the Year. And we have past Teachers of the Year. By the way, our excellent planner and host, Jim, he's also a Teacher of the Year in Arizona. At NAU, we think it's so important that not only do we recognize them and bring them onto campus when they're the Arizona Teacher of the Year, we also give them an honorary doctorate from NAU. That's how serious we believe this honor is. Now, so for those of you that are going to be teachers, you have a chance to hear keynotes today by each of these amazing Teacher of the Year, national, state, and rural. But you also have a chance to go to breakout sessions and learn from them. It's a pivotal time in education because something's happening next year that's very key. And that is, for the first time in the history of the United States, we're going to have common standards across the U.S. in 46 of our states. And what that means is we're going to elevate the art of teaching to teaching to standards and teaching as a process that's different than the past. Because we actually had a dark era where we started teaching the test, and it was a very bad time. But now with a common core that you'll learn more about today, what you're going to find out is that we're going to be teaching children how to learn. We're going to be moving away from dull, dusty textbooks to living literature. And half of the material now will be nonfiction. So students will be learning, they will be reading to learn and learning to read at the same time. But as they move through the grades, they're going to have some of the best literature in the world to read. And so this is a great time. And so as you enter the teaching profession, you're going to be seeing teachers moving into a new curriculum too. We've had 4 or 5 of these major movements, but this is the most significant ever. And so today, for you that are going to be teachers, in the near future, you're going to learn more about the Common Core and how teachers address it. For those of you that are Teachers of the Year, I have a surprise for you. It's a secret too. You too will learn, because these bright young people have something that we once had, and that was innocence, seeing the world through new eyes, seeing children as they are, experiencing the joy of learning in your classmates for the first time. And so you'll be able to be excited and energized by our wonderful teachers that are going to be teachers at NAU. By the way, do you know where the best place in Arizona to become a teacher is? NAU. Through our history, we started off as a normal school, and we continue to be the very best place in the state. And one of the best places in the country. U.S. News and World Report released an issue a couple weeks ago talking about our graduate programs. And out of the 200 best programs in the country, we are the second largest. So we're a very large college. NAU has 26,000 students, but 4,000 are in the College of Education, and we're around the state. My goal and the goal of our faculty is for us to become the best teacher education program in the country, and we're working toward that. But it's going to take you and your participation and your energy, and some of that will come about today. So I want to welcome you to NAU and to this wonderful, wonderful day where we celebrate teaching and the excellence of teaching. We'll learn from each other. You will learn from these master teachers, and the master teachers will catch your excitement and energy and be re-energized. But having said that, I would like to go ahead and move into our program to get to the heart of this morning when you'll hear the National Teacher of the Year share. It's a very unique opportunity. I would like for the planning committee for this conference to stand up, or wave if you're standing up. Look around. So these are the people. These are the people, and they're listed in your program. I want you to take a look. But this didn't start last week. It didn't start last month. They've been working on this for a year, and they put it together. They brought in these outstanding speakers. They put this wonderful program together, and I want to thank you guys very much for your work on this committee. And now, I would like to recognize our student organization, our Future Teachers Club, TASH, NYC, National Association for the Preparation of Early Childhood, and PDK. All of you students that are members of student organizations, would you stand? Thank you. Now, this is something very special, because these guys are already leaders in education, and they've caught it here even as they're an undergraduate student. And so I expect great things from our leaders. Now I would like to have all of our presenters for the day stand up and wave to the group. Thank you very much. And during the program, you're going to be making some hard choices because you can't see everything. You might be able to see 1/10 of the program. And so you have to make hard choices. But you can read about what they're doing and where they've taught and what their accomplishments are. And so it's just really, really extraordinary. I'd like to tell you more about them, but I want to get us back on time because I certainly want to have Rebecca have all the time that she can have. And so Bobby, if you'll come on up. It's time to make a very, very special introduction. And let me say that that Bobby's work is so key because she coordinates each year the Arizona Teacher of the Year, which is part of the National Teacher of the Year program. And for many years, she served so diligently in terms of recognizing the great talent. So Bobby, a special introduction.
Thank you very much. Those of you who know me are probably so sick of hearing me say that I have the best job in the whole wide world, but I really do. Because I get to work with the best teachers in the state of Arizona. And I want to pay homage right now to all the Teachers of the Year from Arizona and the Ambassadors for Excellence. Would you please once again stand and be recognized, and thank you for making my job so wonderful. I would like to introduce the current Arizona Teacher of the Year, Nancy Lindblom. Nancy is an AP government teacher at Skyline High School in Mesa, Arizona. She's one of your presenters today, and she'll be the keynote speaker after lunch. But she has the honor and privilege of introducing the keynote speaker this morning. So without further ado, I present the 2013 Arizona Teacher of the Year, Nancy Lindblom.
Yesterday afternoon, Bobby and I had the wonderful opportunity to go and pick up Rebecca at the airport, and we had a fabulous trip up here to NAU. We drove through Sedona, and we got to know Rebecca a little bit more, and she is a delightful person with a wonderful passion for education. Around January, we actually had the opportunity, all of the state teachers of the year, to hear her speak, and you are in for a terrific treat today. She is a 7th grade teacher at Burbank Middle School in California. She is an amazing person, and she is this year's National Teacher of the Year, Rebecca Milwaukee.
Did you see my Spanx? All right, give me a second. You know that I have that horrifying moment every time I speak somewhere where they put up this, they put up my PowerPoint and I have to check and make sure I'm not wearing that same outfit. Does that ever happen to you? Okay, can I just, we're so short for time and my speech is so long, and that's, I'm gonna cut huge parts of it. But when you travel and give 250 speeches, you have to worry about recycling outfits. You have to recycle outfits. I don't have that kind of money to buy a new outfit for every speech. And so I go through my PowerPoint and I make sure I'm not wearing anything that I'm wearing in any of those pictures, because how weird would that be? They would think I'd made those pictures on this day. And so I've been really good so far. And I got invited to China. And so I went to China to speak, and I'm literally halfway across the world. And I think I don't have any clothes that could appear in any of the pictures that I'm sharing with the places that I'm speaking. And on my way to the big speech in this huge auditorium with probably 5,000 people, I'm walking up this grand staircase, and they have this giant poster of me speaking in Washington, D.C. in front of the NEA Representative Assembly in the same navy blue suit that I am wearing at that very moment. Same necklace, same shirt, same hair, and I'm thinking, oh my God, they're gonna think that I don't have any other clothes. And how sad is that? Oh God. So these are the things you have to worry about when you're the National Teacher of the Year. Clothes. Okay, now I don't want to let you down or anything, and I know you are here expecting to hear from the nation's top teacher, just the best teacher in the whole United States, and I hate to start on a downer, I really do. But I have to tell you, there is no such thing. There really is no best teacher in the United States of America. In a country this size, have you gotten out there? This country is huge. There are 3.2 million of us. In a country that huge, how could there ever be one best of us? There are so many of us out there doing the same exact work that I do, that my friends do, and that you are doing now or will soon do. And I have worked alongside them, I have sweat with them, I have helped put up those bulletin boards and chaperone those field trips. I have stolen the lessons from the best teachers I know and not given them any credit for it. I've taken all the credit for myself. Those people are out there, and I have learned from them and loved them and cried with them and been inspired by them. They are all out there, and I am just so honored to get to be part of the team, part of the club, part of those 3.2 million. And so for me to get all this attention and all these hot spotlights shining on me only is exciting and humbling to me because I get the opportunity to flip it around and shine it on all of your beautiful faces and help illuminate the incredible, challenging, wonderful work that we do as teachers. So it is my great, great honor to be a representative for all 3.2 million of us. From sea to shining sea, I get to be the face of the American public school teacher, and that is my humble, humble honor and the real glory and the high point of my life. So I'm so thrilled to get to be here today. So of course you're thinking to yourself, well then why you? Why her? If she's not the best, what's she doing up there then? Let's get the grannies back. And I think the reason I was picked is because I have the qualities that really all the best teachers have. I have an absolute passion for my work, and I have a hunger and a thirst for getting better at it every single day. I absolutely adore every single person I do this job with. I love the people, not just the little ones, but the big ones, the brand new ones, the old grizzled veterans who are cynical. I love even them. I have a bottomless well of belief in my kids and their potential and all the unique gifts that every single kid walks through the door and delivers to me. And I have the unshakable understanding that with a strong education, boys and girls can do anything they set their mind to. You're learning this firsthand. If you want it bad enough and you'll come to class and learn, you can do anything you want with your lives. And so because I have these qualities, I think I was recognized and held up and apart from others and sent all over the world to show them what it is that a great teacher looks like and what great teachers do. So I'm happy to be that representative. And so I also have to freely admit that I am who I am because of my village of support. I heard a great phrase when I was in New York, and it says, your growth into greatness depends on your community of support, and that is so true. Your growth right here at NAU into greatness is because of all these professors and all these teachers who come talk to you, and every teacher you've ever had, and every kid who's ever shaped you, and every person you'll ever meet. All of that beautiful alchemy swirls around and turns you into the great person that you are. Now, I have this slideshow that goes with a different speech, but there's so many fun pictures in here that I want to share with you. But if I get to talking about any one of the pictures, can you just sort of do like that, like move on or wrap it up, or do whatever they do when they're like in Hollywood and they're telling actors to speed up. But I went to the White House, I was recognized, and I got sent to the White House with Christy Martorelli of 2012. So are you back there? Are you? Okay, so you're just off screen. And so we got to go to the White House and meet the president, and of course you're freaking out because you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna meet the president. Don't wet your pants. Don't bark, don't fall, don't bring shame and dishonor onto the family. And I didn't do any of those things. But I teach 7th grade English, and so part of the conversation that I have with my 12 and 13-year-olds is about memories, and we're learning to find our voice as writers, and we read a lot and we write a lot, and we're trying to find our way, and how to really capture the essence of a place or a moment or a person. And oftentimes that'll come through a sensory detail. So we talk a lot about sensory details. And the kids know, because I bring in science articles all the time, we do a lot of nonfiction already. If you're a good teacher, you've been doing Common Core since you started teaching, so don't freak out about Common Core. So I tell the kids that sensory memories are really, really powerful, but the most powerful of all is the olfactory sense. That's smell, sense of smell. That if you can remember how a place smelled, or how a person smelled, or what you smelled when something really intense happened, you'll remember it forever and ever and ever and ever. 100 years later, you'll catch a whiff of that thing and go, oh, that reminds me of Nana's house, and it will come flooding back to you. I'm telling you this story, and because you're thinking to yourself, why on earth is she talking about sniffing in a picture with the president? Because when you meet the president, he pulls everybody into Hug Harbor. And so I was in there, and I knew, and I told my students this, I said, I don't care what happens that day, I don't care how many pictures I get, if I get a sniff of the president, because I want to remember this day forever. Pictures won't do it justice. I want to really remember the moment. I've got to smell him. So we pull it into Hug Harbor, and I've got my chin right up in the crook of his neck-shoulder combo thing. The nicest man, I'll just tell you this. And have you ever tried to inhale and not make any noise? Because you don't want to I don't want him to hear me. That's just weird. So one in, nothing. So I go a second. So now I think he thinks I'm hyperventilating, which I'm not at all, I'm so calm. But nothing, no shampoo, no lotion, no gel, no laundry detergent, like a bounce dryer sheet, cologne, aftershave, any power, a scent of power, nothing. And that's freaking me out. The president has to have a smell. It's weird that he doesn't have a smell. So I go in for a third. And this one makes a little noise. And I'm actually kind of now rooting around in his collar. And that's when Secret Service stepped in. And they're like, okay, you two, break it up. Break it up. No smell though. So I had to focus on tie. So he's talking to me and we're having a great chat and conversation, and I've just lasered in on his tie, which is sort of a light gray with stripes, kind of diagonal stripes like that. I'll never forget that tie. He appeared just the other day in public and did a little press conference, and he had on my tie, and I jumped out of the middle of an audience of strangers and went, "That's my tie!" And they all went, "What's wrong with you?" Crazy. So no smell. Really disappointing, but super soft hands. Really handsome, very lean and fit. So fellas, he's bringing his A game. About 165, tall, he's about 6'5", 6'6". So my husband was like, ooh, I gotta get working. So when it was all over, behind the scenes, where it was all light and lively and joyous and funny, he's so funny. We talked about being class clowns in middle school and caring way more about making our friends laugh than get our homework turned in on time. I was like, oh my God, we are the same person. We went out for the ceremony and I thought, okay, now it's gonna get serious. It's time for the serious formal ceremony. This is gonna be on C-SPAN. Nothing exciting ever happens on C-SPAN. So here comes the boring part. And I'm just saying to myself, stand up straight, shoulders back, chin out, butt out, back. You know, I'm doing all this stuff so I look good on TV and I don't embarrass anybody in my family. And while I'm doing that mantra in my head, I'm hearing him take swipes at me. He's teasing me, he's making fun of me, he's talking about a field trip that I took kids on and wondering if I lost any kids on the field trip. He's his own little comedian, he's like Louis C.K. over there, like joking. It was pretty clean, no F words or anything like that. And I'm having an out-of-body experience going, what is happening? Like there's a B-roll of how if this day was totally awesome, that's how it would go. And then there was what I thought reality would be, and it turns out the B-roll was accurate. He was silly and goofy, and he left the podium and did a fist bump with me. And the thing is, I do fist bumps with my 12-year-old, so I know how to do a fist bump. This white girl knows how to do a fist bump. And he comes at me with the fists up, and I'm thinking, because I'm still in the whole like, what's happening? Oh my God, what's happening? So I get my fists up, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna fist bump, this will be awesome. And then Mrs. Rethwish, my second grade teacher who taught us manners, snaps into my head. She's long past, rest her soul in heaven. Her voice comes booming in my head and goes, one does not put one's hands on the president. And so there's this moment, if you watch the playback, which I'm still too afraid to do, there's this moment where I'm all like, and it just got so much better from there. It was the most incredible time. He has a love and a passion for teachers. He freely admits that to be the truth. He named several teachers that made him the person that he is today, and he gave a lot of props to teachers. And then he went out on stage and really talked the talk after being behind the scenes with me, goofing around. Got to meet Senator Barbara Boxer. I have stories about her, but I'll get sidetracked. Dr. Jill Biden, the Vice President's wife, who herself is a teacher. Hello. She teaches English literature at the college level. Love that. She told a great story about military families and making sure that, you know, as teachers, we pride ourselves on knowing our students, knowing everything we can about them so that we can serve them the best and really meet them where they're at and grow those little people or those big people. And she said you need to know which one of those kids have a parent who's serving in the military, because you have to understand the road they're walking on. You have to tread lightly in their lives, but at the same time you have to drill down deep and find out where their need is and then help meet that need all the time. Very touching stories. If you want to hear the actual story, both Christy and I could tell you, it'll make you cry. Then they flew me up to New York to be on CBS This Morning with Oprah's BFF, Gayle King, and Charlie Rose, grumpiest man in the world. And the only thing I can say about this picture, those that I've been on 3 times, it's been so much fun, they've been so nice to me, but those hair and makeup ladies, holy smokes. I've never looked that good in my whole life. I never will again. I live in LA, so I took that picture to a tattoo parlor and I said, can you tattoo that face onto this one? Because she's cute. I'd like to be her someday. And they thought it was crazy. Got to go on the Ellen show. Before you think all like, oh my God, have you ever tried to walk and dance at the same time? Walking and dancing. It's a horrible trick she plays on all of her guests. And I could barely keep it together, but it was a lot of fun. I got to go to the set of Glee, and I guess on the show, they had just presented Will Schuster with the Teacher of the Year award for his district or his state or something like that. And so they wanted to bring me in so that he could give me the same Teacher of the Year award. And so it was so cute, he said from one Teacher of the Year to another. And he was playing it straight, like he really thought he is the Teacher of the Year. And it was like art imitating life, imitating art, imitating life. It was like an enigma wrapped in a riddle, or the other way around, I don't know what it is. But that was a lot of fun. I got to go to the Dodgers and Angel games, and I saw you have a beautiful stadium in Phoenix, and the roof was doing things, and I wanted to go be in that stadium too, but I didn't want to get greedy. They sent Christy and I, and soon Nancy's going to go to space camp, and you do all kinds of stuff. They launch you into space, they throw you back down onto Earth, they make you eat space food, they spin you around, oh my God, it's insane, and it's so much fun. And they let you fly the space shuttle. It's a simulation, so those of you gamers out there are going to nail this. I am not a gamer. I get killed in Pong on my phone. I just can't do the back forth. I just can't. So I crashed the space shuttle twice, and it's a simulation. But when you're, both my father and my father-in-law are in the service. They're colonels in the Army and the Air Force, and so we take, duty and service and the power of flight and firepower. This is a big deal in my family. And so that I crashed the space shuttle, I was distraught. And they're like, you want to go again? 3rd time's a charm. I'm like, no, I can't do it. I can't face my nation. And they're like, it's a simulation. Get over it. 3rd time I landed it, so everything was fine. They've sent me everywhere. As National Teacher of the Year, you're on the run from the minute they tell you until the minute it's over, and then suddenly you're just stuck at home. They sent me to Russia. They sent me to China. Great Wall of China, who's been? Phenomenal, right? Oh my gosh, you can toboggan down. You take a ski lift thingy up, or a tram, and then you can get on a toboggan and slide down at about 300 miles an hour. It's so dangerous, it's so awesome. That would never exist in the US. It would have cages and gates and lawyers pinned on. I got to go to Singapore and teach in Singapore, the cutest girlies ever. That was a 9th grade English literature class, and they just read The Scarlet Ibis, which is a beautiful story, and I had taught that before, so I knew what I was talking about in this class. Had a ball. Got to go to Japan, was sent to Japan specifically to the tsunami-devastated regions to talk to the teachers and the students there and see what their recovery efforts have looked like. Very touching, still quite devastated, but really, really an amazing experience. This was me in my first year of teaching. Actually, that's not quite true. In my very first year of teaching, they had, go with me, it's going to sound very Pony Express, but they had these, they're called cameras, and you had to open the back, and you had to put this roll of film in it, and then you closed it and you advanced it, and it did like that, and then you took all the pictures, and then you had to open the back up, and you had to take out the film, and you had to send it away to Seattle, and about 2 weeks later, pictures would come back. I know, kind of like how the old US post office used to deliver mail on ponies. So I couldn't find a picture from my very first year of teaching. So this is when they had digital. So this was maybe about 10 years ago. And so that's me in my first year of teaching. And despite this whirlwind that I've been on and all the swirls and excitement of everything that's happened to me from the White House to right now, I think my face in that picture captures the excitement and the vibrancy and the vitality of a life spent teaching, even though I was only about 10 years in. And for me, the utter and honest reality of my life, the central truth of my life is that I'm a teacher, that it is a deeply enduring and challenging and emotionally satisfying and completely spectacular swirl. Speaking of swirls, I really think teaching is kind of like the emotional and social equivalent of whitewater rafting. Something that I think you can do in Arizona. You guys have the great Colorado River. There are these really long periods of calm and soft quietness that are interrupted by sudden bursts of frantic turbulence. And there's so much boredom sometimes, and it blends right away with some excitement. And there's moments of exhilaration followed right hard on the heels of moments of intense doubt and misunderstanding and disappointment. And all of it often is followed with near-death encounters. Every other day, at least, there will be a scrape that you have to fight for your life to get out of. And some days you really feel when you're a teacher that you're confidently navigating the rapids and you're doing a great job, and other times the whole boat just utterly capsizes. and you get tossed in the water. And you go into it well prepared and excited and dry. Dry is a very important quality of a teacher. You endure 1,000 challenges, each one different from the next, and you gather skill and confidence along the way. And you get tossed and tumbled about for sure, and you will get utterly soaked by it. And at the end, the river, well, it just is done with you. It's done. And it spits you out on shore. And you're crawling on your hands and your knees, and you're soaked and you're sore, and you just get away from that river and you say, for the love of God, I will never do that again. We almost died. And people are like, but it was so pretty and so much fun. Didn't you have fun? We almost died. And then the next day dawns. It's Tuesday. And the day is fresh and bright, and there's dewdrops on everything, and so it looks so harmless and pretty, and you think, I really did learn a lot, and that was really a great day, and it was incredible and scary. And you know that everything that's really worthy, everything that really grows you as a human being, everything that's anything, always deserves another try. And so back to that river you go, and you give it another go. This is teaching. This is the first day of teaching. It's the first 5 minutes of teaching, to be honest, I swear it. But despite, I don't want to scare you or anything, but you know, any of you who've been in the classroom for a little while know that it's true. But you know what? Despite all those thrills and those chills and almost dying every period, there's real glory in the work that you're going to do there. And you are so blessed and humbled and honored to go back to it. Day after day, you're the luckiest person in the world. Let me tell you about one of my favorite days teaching. 9:30 in the morning, November 2nd, second period. I'd come in early to put a gorgeous graphic on the whiteboard because that's what good teachers do. You show up early to draw kooky things on your board for the kids, and you're so proud of them. Like I just learned just a few years ago, I'm embarrassed to admit this, that you could use your projector to project pictures onto your whiteboard and then trace them with Expo markers. I mean, I literally, I felt so stupid when some kid goes, hey, what if we did this? With the light. And I was like, and I immediately went to Staples and bought the 23 pack of colored Expo markers because black and blue just doesn't cut it when you're putting a Ming vase on the, you know, when you're doing something. So I put this gorgeous graphic on the whiteboard, and I was so proud of it. And I taught my first class, which was slightly different than my second class. Second class was 7th grade English. So I'm up in front of the class, and I'm talking, and I'm teaching, and I'm pointing at things on the board with purpose. I am owning this lesson. I am so good. And I see a hand go up, and another hand go up, and another hand go up, and I'm like, that's right. They're with me. Engaged. Thank you. But do I stop and call on anybody? No, because I'm a good teacher. I know about wait times. I am waiting to see if kids are really getting this. And so I keep teaching, and now I'm doing that thing that I also learned in teacher school, which is proximity control. So I'm teaching I'm in the wild now. I'm teaching from among the kids. And I'm moving amongst them. I'm keeping the squirrely ones still. I'm keeping the about to be noisy ones quiet. And I'm rocking the lesson. And now every hand is up. And I am on air. If there's Teacher Cloud 9, I was up there swinging from it. Like, oh yeah, rock star. If they could see me now. And I'm noticing the hands in the air. There's the ones who get the classic method, and then there's usually the boys who think this somehow is more visible. This will get me called on, like this I can't see. But this, oh, there you are, like that. I didn't know that you had a question. And so, it's not the hands in the air that stopped me. It really wasn't at all. It was the looks on the kids' faces. And it wasn't an engaged look. It wasn't a questioning look. It was a look of concern. Real urgent. Fear, actually, is not for themselves. I mean, this lesson was not scary at all. Reflexive pronouns. Hi, sexy. So I finally call on the gal. I finally give it up and cede the floor and all the control to Jasmine. And I say, yes, Jasmine. And she doesn't say a thing. She just points at my feet. And I mean, it took me 10 minutes to look down. I was in disbelief. I was like, why is there not a question that comes out of a child when one has taught such a fascinating lesson? Is there not something that a human needs to know more about? And it took me 10 minutes to look down and see what the class had known about for 10 minutes, but what I had been far too wrapped up in what I was doing to know, it was that the waistband of my slip had decided that day, 9:32, November 11, second period, it was retirement day. Done. Clocking out. And the band had just split somehow, and my skirt had slid slowly and steadily down my legs the whole time I was teaching, and was now puddled at my ankles. Some sort of mortifying, like, infinity underwear scarf. And I'm standing there, dead silent. Dead silent. I'm not advising this, but if you ever want dead silence in your classroom, let some part of your underwear become outerwear. Like if it's a fire drill and the kids are all screaming, "What are we gonna do? We're gonna die!" Just flash them your panties. It shuts them right up. You might go to jail, but you'll get those kids out alive. I'm gonna spare you the, like, David Blaine style sleight of hand and foot that needed to happen to make that situation all better. But suffice it to say, that moment is seared into the minds of those 7th graders forever. I wish it was my teaching. I mean, I know they probably don't remember a thing about that reflexive pronoun lesson, but they remember me and that day. And I mean, just think about, allow the mind to wander and think about, how does one fix that situation? Do you kick it off? I'm not an exotic dancer. I don't know how to do that. And these are 7th graders. My God, all of this, my mind is going, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. I try to hide. I kind of jimmied over to the file cabinet. I really did. I did a little disappearing act. And so you're saying to yourself, why we're short for time, and she told an underwear story. Super. I really am completely out of time. I know you're asking yourself, why on earth have they brought this crazy woman with her wardrobe malfunction to come inspire us in our chosen field of teaching? Why her? And it's because I'm the absolute perfect person to come and inspire you, because I'm going to tell you the truth about teaching. I was going to. It's 9:07 now. I have no more time left to tell you anything about teaching. It's because in the middle of this work that you're going to do, this work that you've pointed your life in the direction of, this amazing, sacred, noble, challenging, heartbreaking, wonderful, hilarious job that you're about to go do, in the middle of all of that work, reality's going to sashay in and slap you upside the head. Every single day. Right when you're feeling super good about what you're doing, well, that's when a dog runs in the classroom. Or that's when the fire alarm goes off. Or that's when the kid barfs. Trust me, it all happens. It's all happened to me. Thank God not on the same day. I would have put in for retirement or transfer right then. But it all happens, and that's what makes our job so incredible, is the absolute and utter unexpected. And the reason that you're here today is because you're a teacher, because you've decided that you want in on some of that you want in on this action of changing a child's life, making the country better, because of every kid you teach is an investment in making this world a better place for us all to live in. And you're going to do that. You're going to change this world, one kid at a time, and you have a front row seat to that future, and you're the luckiest person in the world because you do. And the real irony about being a teacher is that the absolute truth is, the more you pour yourself into it, and you will absolutely pour every fiber of your being into that classroom and into those kids, the more you give of yourself, the more filled up you become. It's the weirdest thing. I couldn't explain it to people until you do it. You will leave physically exhausted. Some days you might even be emotionally exhausted, but you'll never be empty. Ever, ever, ever. And that is one of the great glories of this job. I want to tell you that this job is very, very hard. I know you know that. You will be sent every kind of kid imaginable, every kind. Some you can't even imagine right yet are going to come walking through your door. And it's your job to meet them where they're at, and to teach them, and to love them, and to guide them, and to push them to places that neither you or they think they can go. That's your job. That's your mission. You have to communicate like crazy with kids. You got to talk to kids and their parents and their parents' parents and their aunts and their uncles and their grandmas, and you got to talk to the teacher on the left and the teacher on the right and all the ones across the hallway. You got to talk to your principal and your administrator and your superintendent and everyone's parents, and their cats have a Facebook page and Twitter. So, I mean, I hope you're not shy or quiet, or if you are, then you're going to have to figure out a method by which you can constantly stay in touch with all these people, because you have to. That's the new world we live in. Set limits for sure, because they will call you in the middle of the night or right before you start to teach and tell you why their kid doesn't have their homework. So set some limits, but you're going to have to be a communicator for sure. You're responsible for every single thing that goes on in your classroom. Everything from the moment the kids step foot in your room to the moment they walk on and into their lives. You're responsible for the lesson, the language that you use to teach, and the language that they use to answer you back, and the language they use to talk to one another. That's your responsibility. You're responsible for their achievement their failure, and everything in between, their successes, their struggles, their health, their welfare, the air temperature, whether the curtains are opened or closed, whether or not they have someone to eat with, or whether or not they have something to eat. All of that is your responsibility. You will deliver to those kids the toughest of love. And at the same time, you will deliver 1,000 tender mercies. That is what every day spent as a teacher is like. You will notice the same blue sweater worn on a little girl day after day after day after day without laundering. And you will see the decrepit condition that that sweater turns into. And it will be your job to find a way to get that sweater. You will become a Navy SEAL. You will be so good. You've got to get that blue sweater. You've got to get it to your house, and you've got to get it laundered and back to her before anybody notices, because God, if anybody notices, that's the end of her. But you're going to do that. And you're going to keep a stash of peanut butter and jellies in your cabinet for all those starving kids, much to the anger of the custodian, who will be furious with you for bringing ants to campus. And you will get the blame for that. But you know what? I can handle an angry custodian. I can't handle starving kids. So go out and buy the bread and the jelly and the peanut butter. You're going to make 1,000 different decisions a day, no two alike. So practice decisiveness. The next time your husband asks if you want coffee, yes, I want it. Cream, 2 sugars. Should we go for a walk? Yes, let's go for a walk, 2 blocks. Just practice at home. It's going to sound ridiculous. Your parents, your siblings are going to think you're nuts, but this is good training. It's good teacher boot camp. And it does not matter how smart your phone is. You cannot phone in this job. There is no phoning it in when you're a teacher. You are a fraud when you try to, and you're spotted as such by everybody you meet. So if you're looking for an easy job, one that's done by 3, or one where you have summers off, all laughable myths that romp in the land of the unicorn, or the liger. This is the new generation, ligers. You're going to need to find a different job, because this is not that job. There is no phoning in teaching. And the reality is that the world that you're going to send your kids out in to succeed in is so complex, so challenging. I teach with tools that did not exist 5 years ago, and I will teach with tools that don't exist right now. And my kids that I teach were born into a world that is so foreign to me, and I'm having to find my way. And so it is a brave new world. How do you get kids ready for a world you can't even imagine yet? It hasn't been built. That is an odd endeavor. And it's a miracle that we're all still sitting here trying to figure it out. But what you fall back on are the essentials. Kids will always need to learn how to read, how to write, how to think, how to compute, how to sing, and how to dance, and how to be good people. How to lead with their heads and their hearts. How to say please and thank you and sorry. How to lend a hand and how to be a friend. That's what a great teacher teaches, no matter what tools you get to play with to get to teach those things. And so stand beside those kids. Pick them up when they fall down. Dust them off. Tell them that mistakes are not only okay, they are an absolute investment in tomorrow's success. That's what I tell my kids. I say we have 1,000 tomorrows together. There's always a tomorrow. You can show up. It's a fresh start for you to make a change in your life. Teach them that kind of grit and perseverance, that they can always keep trying, and that there's another tomorrow coming. But please do that for yourself too, because you're going to stumble and make mistakes as a teacher. So you have to be as kind and merciful with yourself as you often are with kids. Make sure, please make sure your students leave better people for having had you as their teacher than when they walked in your door. And I want to tell you about some of those mistakes I was just talking about. I mean, to be honest, when you start teaching, are going to be so good at 2 o'clock, way better than you were at 8. At 8, you will look back and go, God, I was a disaster. I think I harmed period 1. But period 6, ooh, they got the best of me. My period 6 class rocks. You're going to be better on Tuesday than Monday. On Tuesday, you're going to look back on Monday and go, they should have fired me on Monday. But today, I'm pretty good. And Friday is a gift that you give to your students and your colleagues. And don't even get me started on the first day of your 2nd year of teaching. Do you remember this year? You walked into class on air. You were such a rock star. You knew it all. You had learned 1,000 things in your first year of teaching. It was a miracle that you came back for more, but you did, and you are so good. And just when you started to really feel on fuego, the fire alarm goes off. And you can't remember where the emergency bucket is or the rosters, and you're running around looking like a first-year teacher. And that happens. I have made all of those mistakes. I have punished the whole class for the misbehavior of one. Yep, National Teacher of the Year did it. Everybody got busted because one kid was a twerp. Yep. I have doubled the homework for the class that groaned with the tiny little bit that I assigned. Do you remember the teachers that did that? What, 10 problems? No! All right, make it 20. Shh, be quiet, be quiet. She's in a rage. I have torn up tests in front of kids when I thought they were cheating and they weren't. I have said things out of anger and frustration to kids that I would give anything to take back today if you could just reel those words in, and you never can, so be careful what gets out. I have made all of those mistakes in my quest and my journey to be a better teacher, and you need to make those mistakes too. So be merciful with the kids, but be merciful with yourself, because you are always learning and improving. And I heard something great in Singapore. They said, we have a high tolerance for failure, Rebecca. High expectation for excellence, but a high tolerance for failure, because if you stumble, it meant you were moving forward. And that's important. So I want you to remember that. And just in case you've decided to switch careers completely, which would be weird because you're sort of into the program a ways, I have to tell you that not only is it hard, but it's the most incredibly wonderful job you'll ever do. And I did other jobs before I was a teacher, so I can say that with some authority. Your students, every single one of them, are so special, so incredible, so hilarious, so stubborn, so testy, so hilarious. They will push you and inspire you to be your very best every single day. They make you bring your A game, even if you're not sure you have one. You rent one or find one and get it into that tote bag and get it to school. You never know from one day to the next what kids are going to bring to you. So my only advice for you is to expect the unexpected. I have a bunch of pictures of kids and I want to tell you their stories, but we are super short for time. It is 9:17, and so I'm just going to get to the end. And I'm going to tell you that there's a line from a poem by Clark Mollenhoff about teachers. And there's one line that really strikes a chord with me, and he says, yours is the pride of loving kids, and the sorrow too. And that's so true when it comes to kids. You will go through unimaginable heartbreak with some of your students, not because they let you down academically, but the reality is some of them get very sick, and some of them even die, and some go to jail for the rest of their lives, and some have babies when they themselves are babies. And some have parents die while they're in your class. So you will cry with your kids, and your heart will break with them. But they will also go on to be National Merit Scholars, and they will invent a technology that changes the world, and they will save lives, and they will become Eagle Scouts. And that is a beautiful miracle, and you get to be a part of all of it. The humanity that you're about to join your life to is such an incredible glory. You're so lucky. Your students need you to be the very best teacher you can be. You need to be friendly with kids, but don't necessarily care so much about being their friend. After all, they have 678 anyway on Facebook. They have a lot of friends. But do you know what? They have such a small, select, rare group of people who have elected to be their teachers. I want you to aspire to be part of that rare group, because there are not too many of those in a kid's life. You need to persist with kids, push them, hold them to the highest standards, and never be so empathetic to their struggles, and their struggles are mighty, that you let them slip or slide or go under. Great teachers are inclined to reach with their students, never stoop. And we never lower the bar of expectation or excellence that we set for our kids, but we help them reach them. We give them that helping hand and lift them up. So I need you to do that. I need you to push kids with a loving heart, because that is the unbeatable combination that makes you a hero in the life of a child. I need you to know whether or not you're prepared. And you're like, well, what do you mean, Mrs. Mulkey? Of course I'm prepared. I'm in teacher preparation college, hello. That's not exactly what I'm talking about. I'm gonna ask you if you're prepared to be remembered. Because children, darn them, they carry their heroes with them forever. Tucked into the corners of their mind or in the soft recesses of their heart, you will live on there as one of a very few group of people who saw in them something special, some unique, inevitable potential, and said, I see it, you can do it, let me help you. And for that, you will be forever remembered. So I hope you're prepared to be remembered. Are you prepared to tell the truth? Because whether you're asked it or not, you're going to need to answer these questions. When the conversation centers on assessment and data and numbers and tests and standards, you're going to have to say to everybody who will listen and many who won't, teaching is about people, not papers. It's about children, not numbers. I don't remember one test I ever took in school, not one. I'm sorry to all my teachers who wrote great tests and gave them, but I don't remember any of that. But I remember every single teacher and what they saw in me. and how hard they worked to pull my potential out of me, even when I fought them on it. So I need you to make sure that you tell the truth and remind people who want it to be about numbers that it's about people. Just tell them, I'm not data, I'm a teacher. That works pretty well. Are you a seeker? Are you prepared to be a seeker? Constantly on the lookout, an ear cocked to hear a child's truest and most genuine cry of what it is down deep that they need, and then stopping at nothing to bring all of your skill and your talent and your humanity and your wisdom and love to help them succeed on their own unique path to greatness. Are you prepared to believe in things you can't see? Because when you're a teacher, boy, do we do. We do that. Teachers water the garden of a child's potential, and it blooms often so far away, many years after we've tilled that fertile soil. But to do that work means we believe in the unseen, and we believe in the possible. We teachers are the most faithful of all. Because with this faith, we help children from all walks of life succeed. We show them how to make meaning of the rich experiences they have as human beings on earth. We give kids hope and inspiration and tools to make the most of their own abilities. And the best part is we do it with laughter and skill and compassion and urgency and love. You, future teacher, are a quiet hurricane of empowerment and possibility and change. You're going to do your work in small batches, 30 at a time, behind the brightly decorated doors of your classroom. You're not going to get a lot of thanks for this work, and you're certainly not going to get riches from your toil either. But I don't want you to fear this rare and unique form of oblivion within which we toil. And here's why. Because every time a child can read because of you, every time that little boy gets his fingers into the safety scissors and cuts a straight line for the first time, every time someone raises their hand and says something so thought-provoking in your class discussion, every time a child solves a math problem that seemed unsolvable, every time someone writes a poem in your class that sways the mind and moves the heart, that is the universe showing its gratitude. In ways almost too subtle to be seen, the universe reminds us teachers every single day that what we do works, that it matters, that kids learn every single day with you. And we are the luckiest people on earth because we get to be there to witness it every single day. And sometimes if you're lucky, you don't have to have that faith. You don't have to wonder if somehow you worked some magic on a child and they've become something wonderful. Because you will sometimes get word back. It'll come as a whisper in the staff lunchroom or on the wing of someone else's status update on Facebook. You'll get word that one of your kids has made good. Or even better, they'll come back and tell you themselves. Some Thursday afternoon at 3:30 when you are wiped out and you stop to catch a second wind and your breath with the help of more caffeine than is legal in most states. I think they invented Red Bull for teachers. I'm pretty sure of it. There they'll stand in your doorway, all teenagery and pimply and arms and elbows and kneecaps with a rocker tee on, or tall and glossy and impossibly beautiful. There she will be. And they will say, hey teacher, do you remember me? I was in your class a few years ago. I made it. Thank you. And on that day, despite the fatigue, bone-crushing fatigue, you will float home on a cloud of joy that no other profession will provide you. So until that day happens for you, and on behalf of all the children who will come back and tell you that you were their favorite, they say that to all the teachers, who come back and say thank you. Let me say thank you for pointing yourself in the direction of this incredible profession. On behalf of all those kids, on behalf of all their parents, whose precious resource they send to you for safekeeping, on behalf of all Americans, whose country you make stronger by the work that you do, the investment that you put into every single child, I want to say thank you. If you're ready to be a hero and to do the work that a hero does, I think you're more than prepared. And so my marching orders for you this morning are to work hard, work really hard, stay curious, get better at your job every single day, surround yourself with the best quality people, respect the kids that you teach, but please love them even more, ennoble the profession with your every effort, be nice to every person you meet, and my goodness, have fun. Because whether or not your career has whitewater rapids, or a wardrobe malfunction, or a trip to the White House, you are in for the ride of a lifetime. Enjoy every moment of it. Thank you.
Presenters and your helpers for your classes, you guys go. The rest of you stay right here for a moment. We got to give them a head start. And presenters, if you could go right out this door in the front, it's a shortcut, and everybody else is going to go out this way. But teachers, take out your programs here just for a second as we give those folks a head start, and we'll get out of here in just a second. If you take a look at our day here, we got quite a day planned. They've got to get up to their classes and get things set up with our different breakout sessions. Our first breakout session is going to be it's going to start a little late, okay? Right now is 9:25, so we're still going to stay with the same schedule of 10:30, and then we'll start with our next section right around 10:45. For your first session, the teachers might go on just a little bit longer. I want to remind everybody at lunch, we have something really, really special here. Pizza. Thanks to our dean. He bought pizza for everybody. It's going to be great. At 1 o'clock, folks, please don't take off. You want to come back here because the Nancy Lindblom, wasn't Rebecca great? What? I mean, the national teacher, wow. And today, not only do we have the National Teacher of the Year to inspire us and get us going with these great teachers that are going to be doing these breakouts, but we have Nancy Lindblom, the Arizona Teacher of the Year, who's going to be...
Who's also an NAU graduate.
Who's also an almost all our presenters were NAU graduates, by the way, at one time or another. We have such a great reputation here. But we have also a raffle, and right over here where my beautiful wife is, Julie. Stand up, Julie. And she's going to point to all these presents over there. And in there we have whiteboards for 2 complete classrooms, Argo, DVD. We have signed books by Dean Michael Sampson. There's a whole lot of stuff there. And you might have found your raffle ticket. When you come back in here, you'll get that. And all sorts of wonderful prizes. So, finally, the person who is the center of all this, her name, where is Laura Timer? She's already out there, she's out there. But if you see Laura, we can give her a big, Laura, come here real quick. A lady who really is the center of putting all this together, who's always kind of hiding in her office, writing things, doing that, is just phenomenal. This conference wouldn't be here without Laura Timer right over there. Give her a hand, please. And she has to work with me, which is a challenge sometimes. Also, at the very end of the day, 2 to 3 o'clock are our panels. They're incredible here. Be sure to go to that. Hang on to this and enjoy. Now, when we get out, some of you can go up this way, some out that way, and enjoy the day. Once again, thank you, Dean Sampson, and the great teachers. Have a great day, everybody.